Hello and welcome back to the workshop where I'm joined by Steve Purves from Accurascale to look at the first batch of Accurascale Class 60s, a kaleidoscope of colour here, Steve. Talk us through what we've got to come.
Well, we've got, as you say, a kaleidoscope. There's a wide selection of colours, not all of them, but certainly many colours we've touched on. There's always going to be a heavy influence of grey, but yeah, we've brought it up to date with the more modern DB traffic red and the GBRF and DCR. So yeah, we try and cover all eras and have something for everybody.
So we've got 10 locomotives in front of us here, ranging from the first to the last.
Yes.
And there are detailed differences incorporated.
Yeah, so as we said sort of early on in the project was we were going to do a Class 60 project and we was going to do every member of the class. And the tooling that we have developed for this, the tooling suite allows us to cover every member of the class at every period in its history. So from fuel tanks, lamp irons, roof configurations, radiator room configurations, cab desks, everything allows you to have a loco exactly right for the period you're modelling in the livery that you want.
Now, starting with 60001, for example, here.
Yeah.
This one's significantly different, I suppose, in its form that we're seeing it here today.
Yeah, so 60001 was the first of the class. It was quite famously rolled out of Brushworks, looking wonderful in this new shape and the future of rail freight, that everything it stood for. Actually, it wasn't finished. The real loco wasn't finished, and it was driven out of Brushworks on a single traction motor. We've got a full story of that in the booklet that comes with these. It tells you from a commissioning engineer's point of view. But yeah, having Dave Moore, who we worked with on 001, some of the history, who was there on day one, has been able to advise us on all the differences and the variations that we've got in there. So we've got the single strip roof join that goes over the cab roof as it was, the plain engine room roof area without the extra fans and scavenger fans in there. We've not got the blanking plates in the radiator room. We've got an open-ended buffer beam. We've got the grey ploughs, which are quite obvious and notably number one. And the really visible thing on the roof is the twin exit exhaust. The key thing with this model comes in a nice box. It's got all the presentation, as the first in class. But we've also included in there a single exit silencer. So you can take the body off and unscrew that, change that for the single exit silencer. So that will forward date your model up until, past the first few weeks of testing. So that's valid then for Old Dolby and the mainline testing period. And with our screw-in buffer beams, the buffer beams on these are fully detailed. And there's a spare set included in the pack, which allows you to then unscrew the one with the couplings on it and screw in a replacement without the couplings, fully detailed, but we've got the black production ploughs. So again, that will take you up to mid-92-ish for the condition of that. So not only is it available as it was on introduction day, but also it's useful for mainline testing and so on. So 001's a real nice bit.
It's a gem, isn't it, that one, with the extra little bits and pieces?
Yeah, I mean, even little things like the white surrounds around the lights, that was something that the earlier ones really stand out when you see them. The multiple working door socket on the cab front as well, that changed. It's got a different style of lamp iron, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, if you wanted something to put on the shelf and to look at and go, yeah, that's a real design thing, really.
How complex has it been to design these up, bearing in mind all these differences?
I mean, the variations are relatively simple. There are many, and there's a lot more than people realise when they look at a Class 60. They think all 100 are the same. And we had this conversation when we first launched the project. I think we came in here and spoke to you then. But once you've taken care of what the details are, it's more about finding the photographs on the day and matching the bits with the right livery and time period. But we had as we do with all the projects really, we had a jump start on these and we went straight in for a 3D scan. So the shape and the actual profile of the loco is exact to the 3D scan, which we then built upon with the details and changes and whatnot. So we know that the basic shape and feel of the loco is exactly right.
Let's continue through one or two other models that we've got in front of us, just as a selection. The load haul one, which has got a stunning livery. Tell us about the detailed differences between, for example, where that is modelled compared to that one.
Well, obviously the big one is the striking livery. Everybody loves a bit of load haul. Orange and black looks great on locomotives, whatever design it's in. But yeah, so by the time we've moved on to load haul, we've gained, as I mentioned, the scavenger fans in the roof. There's an extra breather over the governor, which was added there. So when you look at the earlier triple grey locos, they haven't got the governor breather, but they have got the scavenger fans from the overheating. We've now found out on the prototype that we had leaky rain strips behind the cab roof. So that's now been replaced. The single strip over the cab roof has been given a double strip. So you can see that with 2 rows of rivets and a gap in the middle, which was a bit of mastic. And then underneath, there was a certain diagram that these worked on where they ran out of fuel, accidentally ran out of fuel. They couldn't quite carry enough fuel. So the load haul in particular started a program of extended range fuel tanks, and they moved an air receiver from underneath up into the radiator room, and put an extended range fuel tank under there. So that's the notable differences. This one being 007, it means it's also got the early pattern of lampine, which is the same as 001, whereas some of the later ones, the higher numbered ones, have got the late pattern on there.
And then adjacent to it, we've got last of class in DB red. How does that differ?
So again, moving forward, it's gained all of the load haul mods that have been done that we've seen already here. Because it's number 100, it's got the later pattern of lampine on there. As with 007, the multiple working socket has now got a door over it as opposed to a covering plate. But notably, 100 and the late era machines have all lost the NRN radio pod off the roof. So there's a lot of little things that change, but especially with our tooling, we've got there's a radio bracket over the horns, as well as an era specific, shall we call it, cab interior. So depending on whether it's got the original seats from here or the later Class 66 style seats in the later ones when the Super 60 project was done.
So it's safe to say plenty to potentially trip you up when you're the whole portfolio together.
Yeah, you have to be a bit of a 60 nerd to undertake. The same with any project. We'll like to be deep into the project when we're working on them. So it's something that you have to be passionate about, because you're looking for those real little differences that maybe some people wouldn't notice or realise. But it's our job really to tell you about them and educate you. But we feel that our enthusiasm is then contagious to everybody else. And if we're enthusiastic about a project, then it allows other people to be enthusiastic too.
Of course. So talk us through the initial batch of releases coming through. We've got a mix of standard and exclusive models.
Yeah, so first of all, we'll look at the exclusives. So the Accurascale exclusives available through us are 60001 and 6100. That's first of class, last in class. And that is the first of class on its first day and the last of class as it is today. So that's the two real sort of bookends to the project. They're available again in a nice fancy box with all the usual artwork on. We do have an additional exclusive which we added later on in the range due to popular demand, which was 055 Thomas Bernardo in the DCR grey. And another exclusive we have with Rails of Sheffield is the British Steel blue 60033. So again, that's available solely from them. The rest of the range is made up of standard releases that you can buy from your retailers. So original sector era machines. We've got Reginald Munn's, which is 92. There is one that is not here, which is the metals sector one, which is 031. There is 015 and 75, which is your Transrail mainline, and then 007 load all, which make up the Shadow franchise period. Then you move forward into the EWS era with 65 Jaguar, which is a bit nice because it's got the yellow plough. It kind of sets it off a little bit.
Stands out, doesn't it?
And the stripe down the middle of the silencer where they couldn't reach to paint over the top.
Noticed that.
Yeah. And then right into the current day era, or virtually current, because the DB ones are stored at the moment. where we've got 6100, 21 and 55, which make up the current scene, really. So it's, like I said, something for everybody. And if there's not colours in this particular range that you like, maybe we've got something for you in the future.
They've talked up some of the detail specifics of the models. What are the general specifications for the models?
So as with any sort of Accurascale diesel project, we've got the lift-off roof hatch, which goes onto all models for easy access for the decoder. The sound-fitted ones have got the Accura Thrash speaker and the small sugar cube speaker in there, Stay Alive power pack, the usual specification on the electrical side of things with cab lights. We've got a bit of what we call one of our trademarks is the desk lighting, behind the gauges. The cab lights have also got a second LED in the corridor, which illuminates the corridor and the cab. We've got radiator room lights, which really do illuminate the area.
A lot of detail there to see.
Yeah, it does. It really sets it off. And then day and night running, we've got the later one with the LED headlights, which has got a different headlight configuration to the others. And then usual sorts of things like parking lights, shunting lights, hazard lights, as the 60s had, where they just flashed the main beam. So yeah, it's the full spec, the big powerful motor, 21-pin DCC.
And of course, the models also come with the Invisilocks.
Yeah, so we've gone all out on this run. We've put the Invisilocks on it, and it's hopefully, we think it was said it's a bit like breathing. When you think about breathing, you notice that you're breathing. If you think about the Invisilocks, you notice them. But actually, when you're in general conversation, playing trains, or looking around the layout, they just sort of disappear and blend in. So yeah, that's something we want to try on this, and we will see. We'll gauge a bit of public reaction and see what people think when they're actually in service on the layout. So as well, with the powerful motor, obviously you expect it to haul long trains, and these are no different. These have got over 800 grams of weight packed into the loco. There's weight in the body as well as the chassis, and that's an all-wheel drive configuration, all-wheel drive, all-wheel pickup. It's not necessarily the weight that allows you to pull the trains, and I'm sure that you can pull an adequate train with less weight, but the presence of a model of a 130-ton loco going around your layout with 800 grams of weight on top, when it goes over the point work and track joints, it really feels like it's a 130-ton loco and not a plastic toy, essentially.
I must admit, when we were putting them on the layout, you could feel the heft that each one has.
That's it. And people say, when the model O-Gauge, for example, the one thing that O-Gauge has got is a presence, and really that's something we're trying to put in by adding weight. It's not about traction, it's about feeling the thing and the weight and the presence as it goes around your layout.
Fantastic. Well, look, these are in stock now.
Yes.
How much are they?
So the DCC ready versions, which they come with the small speaker but not the big Accura Thrash in there. DCC ready, they're $169.99, and the DCC sound ones are $269.99, and they have got the full package.
Fantastic. Well, look, Steve, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for bringing in the first batch of Class 60s from Accurascale. We're really looking forward to getting these running around the layout and moving shortly. Thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed our video of Accurascale's brand new Class 60. You can see a full review in HM218, which is our September 2025 issue of Haul Me magazine, and also check out more at keymodelworld.com. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.